All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Floyd, aka your Negus, aka owner of Team Delaney Saggy Tits of, and and they call me Commish of the best fantasy football league in the world, and of course, that is Nantucket's Revenge. And as per usual, I'm joined by my lovely, lovely, lovely co-host, owner of Team Thousand Oaks Gang, and my right-hand man, Michael Wiseman. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, mate? I'm 2-2. It's gonna go either way. Either I'm gonna lose this week, or I'm gonna win this week. But Thousand Oaks gang till I die.
Football. Actually, you could tie. We almost had a tie last week.
That's true.
Between me and Butts, but I edged him out. Wiseman, how about you take us through the standings, buddy?
No problem. So, alone at the top. Again, I'm pretty sure he was the only one at the top last week as well. But Trevor, 4-0. The Rusty Cunts. Followed by 2 3-1s. DST, Delaney Saggy Tits. 4DT, 4 Down Territory, Mike Brobst. And then we have a whole bunch of 2-2 teams. 5, it looks like. Starting with Team Butts, followed by Thousand Oaks Gang, followed by Evansdale Carpet Munchers, Nick Rudder, followed by Toledo Cheek Clappers, Billy Block, and last but not least of the 2-2s, Juices Loose, Mikey Martinez. I believe the tiebreaker is points scored, so that's why they're in that order. And then we have 4 1-3 teams. At the top is xnxx.com/Alexis Texas, Rob Zabecki. The Golden Taint, Ricky. Bye week, Devin. And finally, at the bottom, but still with a win, is Get to Black, Damien.
Yeah, things are starting to shake out a little bit. We're starting to see a tiny bit of separation. No powerhouse teams and then no teams falling all the way behind yet, I guess. Yeah, we're heading into week 5. We're coming off a crazy week. Me and Wiseman are going to run through. Since the last video, we've had 6 trades this past week. So before we go over our trades as well as our free agent pickups, we're just going to brush over the scoreboard of last week, not necessarily dive into all the matchups like we normally do. Wiseman, mine's loading right now. Do you have that up off the top of your head? Do you know who lost our Survivor bonus?
I don't. I just know that so far out it's me, Devin, and Nick. So we'll be able to tell as soon as that loads.
Cool. Who was right in front of me? It looks like Billy squeaks out of it by 2 points. Billy scores 94. We had 2 teams score 92 points. Thankfully, one of those is Team Bye Week, Devin Pooley, so it's not going to be him. And our loser of the Survivor Challenge last week is Team Get to Black, Damien, scoring 92 points.
Dude, I'm just now noticing that Trevor won with 99 points. I did not notice that happened.
And I was going to shit on him for it, but he actually, I think, scored the 7th most points. So only one person. He was one person away from scoring in the top half. So I wasn't going to shit on him for it, but we had a 92, a 92, a 94.
And a 101.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, he scored like 8th most. So it's not, could have been 10th, 11th, or 12th, I guess.
Yeah, I would say our 2 marquee matchups were your win over Butts at 151 to 149, and then Nick beating Rob 149 to 137. Apart from that, none of them were exceptionally close. I guess Trevor winning by 7 is pretty close, but I blew out Mikey. Ricky blew out Billy, kind of, and then Mike handled business against Damien. So it was a decent week. Some teams didn't put up very many points. Some teams put up a lot of points. So I thought it was a decent week for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, I agree. Trevor was lucky enough to face Team Bye Week, who proved to be a bye week and scored the lowest amount of points in the week. So he improves to 4-0. You know, sometimes it pays to be lucky in fantasy.
That's true. I would say sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Trevor's 2 high scorers were Mohamed Sanu at 18 points and Carolina D at 15 points. Me and Butts were sweating it in the shootout of Rams versus Tampa Bay. I was able to pull off a 2-point win as Godwin surged with 41 points. So that was cool.
Yeah, he went off.
Yeah, we're gonna jump right into our action. Let's just start with the trades. So we're not going super in depth today with all of like last week's matchup stuff because I want to make time to talk about like roster construction and like what I guess you should be looking for in trades or how maybe people should think about trades as far as like upside and ceiling goes and floor, et cetera, et cetera. Because at the end of the day, you really shouldn't be looking to just like pick random guys that you think are going to do well. You want to think about your team as a whole and what they look like as a unit. Like we've mentioned many times, we have a team that's just like boom, like all upside wide receivers, but their floor is just like grotesque. Yeah, so just roster construction, etc. The dominoes of our trading fell when Robert sends me a trade. We have it here. It's he offered me Sammy Watkins and Carlos Hyde for Aaron Jones and DJ Chark. Shark?
It's Shark, I think.
Wiseman, what do you think about this trade? And I'll tell you how I felt about it.
Well, I don't. It's tough to judge. I want to say every single player in this trade. I think we may have seen enough out of the new coach in Green Bay to lead us to believe that they're going to be more willing to run the ball than Mike McCarthy was. But that's why I kind of avoided Aaron Jones at the beginning, like when everyone was drafting, is because I just didn't know what the run was going to look like in Green Bay. But especially with Jamal Williams going out, I would say Aaron Jones' value goes up because of that. So, having a starting running back in a good offense is always something you want to see. I'm reluctant to say that he's the best player in this trade because it could arguably be Sammy Watkins, but it's close. And then DJ Chark definitely emerged as Gardner Minshew's favorite target. So I don't know. I don't mind Rob's side of the trade. For you, obviously you're very high on Sammy Watkins. I'm not as bullish on Sammy Watkins as you are. But being tethered to Pat Mahomes is usually means good things for fantasy purposes. So Sammy Watkins hasn't really quite reached what we saw from week 1, but obviously he's got it in him. So it's a good ceiling play. And then Carlos Hyde is a starting running back, getting at least 14 touches a game. So I suppose I wouldn't hate being on either side of this trade, but to be completely honest with you, with how scarce valuable running backs are, I would take Rob's side of the trade just because he's getting the better running back.
Cool. I'm glad we have differing opinions. It gives us a different perspective to show that no one person is right or people value things differently. Like because it all comes down to roster construction, like we said before. And being that I have David Johnson, I'm not super scared about my running back situation no matter what. I'm more of a zero RB type of guy anyway. I like to think that running backs are rather replaceable. And for me, I like to view the running back position as more of just about opportunity. I'm just looking for guys that can give me opportunity. At the end of the day, you can't predict who's going to score touchdowns. I mean, we can take good guesses, but if somebody's giving me opportunity, I'm okay with that. I'm not the guy that's willing to spend it all on running back because receiver has so much more upside to it. That's how I like to do my roster constructions. And for me, this fits perfectly. I haven't set on air yet because I didn't want Rob to try. I've been trying to get Sammy Watkins off Rob since week 1, and I didn't want him to try squeezing more out of me. I think personally, Sammy Watkins is going to be the wide receiver 1 of fantasy. Hopefully, he starts helping me out a little bit with that prediction, but I predicted it after I seen week 1. Obviously, recency bias is always a thing, but Sammy Watkins still looks so good. If you look at him this year, he's extremely agile in the open field. He's a bigger, better body receiver than Tyreek Hill is. So when he comes back, I don't think it's going to eat him.
For reference,
so having arguably the best receiver and the best offense in the NFL, that's exactly what I'm looking for when I'm putting my roster together. So seeing this trade, I absolutely loved it. I was totally willing to ship Aaron Jones I don't know what people are expecting out of Jamal Williams' injury. It seems like just a concussion type injury. So he's not. I don't think he's playing this Sunday, but I'm expecting him to be back the week after. I would imagine.
Besides, Aaron Jones has always looked better than Jamal Williams anyway.
Aaron Jones, of course, is the better running back, but as we know, talent doesn't necessarily matter in fantasy football. It's about opportunity, like I said before. And if before Jamal Williams went out, they were about splitting 50-50, and the coaches all week were trying to say that they were giving Jamal Williams more touches. They proved that first quarter. Jamal Williams gets the ball, he goes down. So I still have Jamal Williams on my bench, which keeps my upside not so capped. When it comes to handcuffs, you realistically don't want your own running back's handcuff. You're capping your upside. You want somebody else's handcuff in case theirs goes down. So like you said, Carlos Hyde get an opportunity, an offense that should move the ball. Last week they didn't do it too well, but very talented offense. I'm taking Sammy Watkins and Carlos Hyde all day.
I'd hope so since you made the trade.
Say it again.
I said I would hope so since you made the trade.
Yep, and that was about 7 days ago or something like that.
All right, let's go to the next one. So in this one, we have Ricky sending Melvin Gordon for Austin Eckler and Julian Edelman. And this is before Melvin Gordon. No, this was post. Yeah, this was post Melvin Gordon saying he was coming back.
It was not before. It was like right. It was like as the news was breaking.
Okay. It was close.
So we knew he was going to be playing. We knew he'd possibly be available, which he was, but they didn't play him.
I think this one's pretty simple. I think that in this case, Trevor wanted to pick up Melvin Gordon because there was a chance that he was going to come back. And Ricky at 0-3 was making a trade, knowing that Austin Eckler was going to be losing volume once Melvin Gordon came back, but knew that Austin Eckler had great matchup against Miami. He basically sold Melvin Gordon, who he'd been holding on the whole year, to ensure that he did not go 0-4. And it worked out for him. So I don't think that Melvin Gordon coming back means that Austin Eckler goes away entirely, because even if you look at last year when Melvin Gordon played the whole year, and even before Melvin Gordon got hurt, Austin Eckler was still involved and still fantasy relevant, at least as a flex. So I don't think Ricky sold Melvin Gordon for chump change, but I think this is definitely a win now move, if you ask me.
So you said Ricky won? Is that what you said? It was a what move?
I think that it was a win now move. Like Ricky needed to make sure he didn't go 0-4, so he picked up Austin Eckler with his matchup against Miami and Julian Edelman and sold the potential of Melvin Gordon this season. Which I guess it's hard to say who won. I mean, in hindsight, looking at what Trevor ended up doing with Melvin Gordon, Trevor won, but Ricky got what he needed out of it, I would say. So
I agree. We'll end up showing, you can probably see on the screen, but we'll end up showing what Trevor got for Melvin Gordon. But we have next week or this coming Sunday, we'll see what the volume for each guy looks like. It'll be an outlook maybe. 1 week might be a small sample size, but they should both be getting the workload that they should be seeing the rest of the season. In my opinion, I think Ricky wins this trade, whether it was a win now move or not. I don't think they're just going to stop giving Austin Eckler the ball. Like you said, he had a role. I definitely don't see that role shrinking.
And he's earned touches with how well he's done while Gordon's been out.
Straight up earned it. I see this easily a good chance this is a 50-50 split backfield. So it seems to me Julian Edelman was free for Ricky in this trade.
Kind of, yeah.
That's my best opinion. I don't see Melvin. People think like I've seen and heard two opinions now, and we witnessed it in a trade coming up soon, that Melvin Gordon is gonna be just him, and he's just gonna get the Austin Eckler type scoring. He's just gonna be scoring 30 points a game. And then B, the other thing is, he hasn't touched the field in forever. He's not going to score a lot. Like you see both of those polarizing things.
Well, and Anthony Lynn, Chargers coach, has said that when Gordon comes back, he's the starter.
What does that even mean, though?
It's coach talk, but that is what was said.
That's coach talk, exactly. Next trade. We have I'll start it. It's your trade. Thousand Oaks gang. Michael Wiseman sends Stephon Diggs and Wayne Gallman, who we picked up that week for $30 of his fab budget. That was about a third of it. And Evansdale Carpet Munchers, Nick Rudder, sends Kenny Galladay. In my opinion, this is a win for both teams, which is what you like to see in a trade. Nick definitely needed quote-unquote depth. And Wayne Gallman was great this week. We'll see how he does the rest of the season. Saquon Barkley is Superman because he already is like back and practicing. They were saying 4 to 8 weeks, and it's been 1.5 weeks.
He's a freak.
Yeah, but it was a win-win for both teams. Nick grabbed the perfect buy low on Stephon Diggs, and then he ends up doing great this week. What do you have, 100 yards or something, 8 catches?
I don't remember what his stat line was, but I know he had 15 points and would have had more if he didn't fumble.
Yeah, so to me, this was a win-win for each team. You were getting rid of Stephon Diggs and Wayne Gallman, who won't see rest of season workload, for just truer, more reliable wide receiver too.
Yeah, for me it was simple. I was tired of Diggs crapping my lineup, and I was willing to move on from him. And I had this was premeditated because I knew that when I was picking up Wayne Gallman, I was picking him up as a trade piece. I was not ever planning on playing him.
He was on your bench.
Yeah, so I picked him up, and I'm like, because that's what I knew. Because I'm like, no one's gonna take Steph Diggs alone, at least not for decent value. So I knew that if I picked up Wayne Gallman and I packaged them together, someone might bite on it. And I didn't really do much shopping. I came to Nick first because I liked Kenny Galladay. Actually, as a matter of fact, I offered him Diggs and Adrian Peterson at first, and then his counteroffer was Diggs and Sony Michel. And when I was looking at it, I almost accepted his counteroffer with Michel, but I thought about how Michel did last year and how he really came on late and put up a bunch of points towards the end of the season. And especially it was really good in the playoffs, like not fantasy playoffs, the regular playoffs. And then I figured that it'd be better for me to hold on to Sony Michel just in case I have a chance at the playoffs late or I'm actually in the playoffs, because Wayne Gallman's not going to be shit at the end of the season when Saquon comes back. So I figured it would be better to hold on to the better long-term prospect. And then, yeah, getting Kenny Galladay, who is like the wide receiver 11 right now. I think you could make an argument he's a wide receiver 1, but he's definitely the second best receiver on my team now. So, yeah, I was happy with it.
Yeah, self-explanatory. Next trade.
Very thin.
Yeah, it's a thin trade. I think it's a testament to how I like to build rosters according to game theory, being that I just got Sammy Watkins, being that I just got rid of Aaron Jones. I'm stuck with either two options: Carlos Hyde at running back or Chris Thompson. While I don't mind starting Carlos Hyde, Chris Thompson's more of like a fill-in flex play for me. It's starting Chris Thompson something I don't mind doing as my RB2, as long as I previously made some great move, which there's still questions with Sammy Watkins. So I need some more fillers than that. Ship Demarcus Robinson because, as we know, there's only so many touchdowns to go around per team per game. So if I have Sammy Watkins, I don't want other Chiefs receivers because I want Sammy Watkins to get 3 touchdowns rather than them splitting and losing that potential touchdown equity in that roster spot. So I shipped Demarcus Robinson for a running back that I know I'm going to easily get in a trade. Didn't have to do any wheeling and dealing there. Hopefully it's a buy low. What I'm looking for out of Kenyon Drake is 15 touches, maybe 80 yards and a touchdown. So,
well, the good news for you is that Kalen Ballage hasn't really looked good, so I don't really think Kenyon Drake's job is under threat. But the bad news for you is he's on the fucking Dolphins. So, I mean, yeah, he's a starting running back, and maybe he can get you, 10, 12 points, which you probably realistically need out of your running back too. But I don't know. I understand why you did it because, like you said, you had to get rid of Demarcus Robinson, being that he was on the Chiefs. But I'm just not a fan of having any part of the Dolphins, to be honest. Like, having offensive pieces from the worst offense in the league, seems counterproductive for fantasy purposes. But like you said, you wanted to trade for a running back, and you had to make sure you weren't capping your upside with 2 Chiefs receivers. So I understand why you did it, but Kenyon Drake isn't the one I would have gone after personally.
Fair enough. Next trade. This trade.
Worst trade of the season.
Immediately made everybody in the group chat sick. Made me sick. Made Ricky sick. I think we can rank this one under our worst trade of the season.
Arguably ever.
It hurts. The Rusty Cunts trade Melvin Gordon. And as you see, he just received Melvin Gordon. So essentially, he flips Austin Eckler and Julian Edelman. But he trades Melvin Gordon and receives from Team Bye Week, who makes his team more of a bye week. Devin Pooley trades DeAndre Hopkins and LaShawn McCoy. Wiseman, opinions, thoughts?
I think it's absolutely fucking absurd to trade somebody who doesn't have a role yet. He has a hypothetical role. And like you said, it might end up being a 50-50 split. While Melvin Gordon is talented and Melvin Gordon will be fantasy relevant, it doesn't make any sense to me to give up the number 1 wide receiver. I know you think it's Watkins, but for me it's Hopkins. And the starting running back for the best offense in the league. It's just not worth it. I don't know why Devin isn't asking for more here. If I have DeAndre Hopkins, I am not selling him for pretty much anything. I can't believe he did it for Melvin Gordon. And gave away his LaShawn McCoy for free. Insane.
Yeah. As far as trade philosophy goes, something I always tell myself is I want the best player in the trade. However, there are always exceptions depending on team needs. Like Nick got rid of Kenny Galladay, but I thought getting another wide receiver of the same caliber and Wayne Gallman was a fine idea because he's just extremely. He was not Ronald Jones, but Peyton Barber. He was starting Peyton Barber every week, and obviously he couldn't do that anymore. So like there are exceptions, but like this trade is so ass backwards that you could be. It should have went Melvin Gordon and LaShawn McCoy for DeAndre Hopkins, but even then, like that's still not enough. I'm not gonna shit on Devin anymore. The point is not to shit. That's counterproductive to the league and morale, etc. I mean, because there are outs. We don't know. There's still ambiguity behind some of this.
Melvin Gordon's going to have to be an absolute stud.
Say it again?
Melvin Gordon's going to have to be an absolute stud for this to pay off.
Yeah, I mean...
He's going to have to put up 40 points a game.
There's always matchups. This could win Devin a week. It could lose him a week. We just don't know. And, I mean, we see it time and time again. We always have 1 or 2 trades every single year where everybody freaks out, but it doesn't always make the hugest difference. I certainly see this could be one not making the hugest difference because even with the LaShawn McCoy piece, Kansas City has now proved that they have 4 running backs that they can put out at any time, and they're not afraid to. So while I do think LaShawn McCoy is fantasy relevant, I think he's a strong flex play. But this could turn out to be where LaShawn McCoy doesn't do a lot for Trevor, and it could be Melvin Gordon and DeAndre Hopkins trading blows. We just don't know. But from a theory standpoint, it looks bad. That's all I got to say from it.
The only shitting I'm going to do is, Devin, you suck for giving him DeAndre Hopkins right before I have to play him. So thanks. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and which brings Trevor now to owning DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, and Juju.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Juju is in a booty offense. Hasn't done much. Whatevs.
Final trade. This just happened, what, today?
Yeah, this offer was on the table for days. And me and Butts had been doing trades, countering, offering back and forth. But the whole time we were doing that, he kept this one on the table, and we were offering and countering other ones. So I'm like, something's up. I think something's up for sure. Like, why is this one on the table? He hasn't declined it. It's been there for like days, but we were still trading offers back and forth with the one staying on the table. And yeah, right before this game started, he accepts my trade. I shipped Chris Thompson For DK Metcalf, who was on his bench all year, who I offered for all year. And he tried doing it right before the game started. I put DK Metcalf in my lineup right away. I benched Philip Dorsett because, like we said, we don't want to cap our upside because I'm also starting Josh Gordon. So while ESPN says Philip Dorsett's projected to score more than DK Metcalf, I go ahead, insert DK Metcalf, don't want to cap my upside, and boom, he's already off to his season high, highest scoring right now. Just Butts must have needed a running back. I'm unsure.
DK Metcalf is insane. Like, he's physically insane. Like, he looks like a linebacker. He's huge and fast and can catch the ball. Like, he's gonna be special. So honestly, looking at it in this light, I would take DK Metcalf. So I would take your side of the trade for upside alone. Chris Thompson's a floor play, not really much of a ceiling play. I mean, he's capable of putting out 30 points, but on the flip side, I don't really like giving away running back depth. I know that I did it when I gave away Wayne Gallman and didn't get a running back in return, but he was a free agent acquisition. So for me personally, I don't like giving away running back depth because running back can be a hard position to come by, like I said before. But I don't mind it in this situation because you're clearly going for the upside with DK Metcalf and getting rid of a floor play.
Yeah, and so now going back to what we've been talking about roster construction and stuff this whole time. Playing Chris Thompson just makes no sense according to my roster construction. Yeah, he can score me anywhere from 8 to 14 points a game, but he can never score me 25. And with my roster construction, David Johnson's my starting running back. He's an RB1 right now, so he can essentially almost be holding down the fort by himself. So starting Carlos Hyde, and it's going to be Carlos Hyde, but if it has to be Kenyon Drake too, either of those guys is going to be quote-unquote fine for me. Because if I can get 10 points out of them, I'm happy because I know David Johnson's going to produce. And then moving down to my wide receivers, they're all volume upside plays. Guys who I know have clear-cut roles. It's Sammy Watkins, Josh Gordon, Robert Woods. And so those are my three studs, quote-unquote. I know they're locks every week. And then somebody who's gone way under the radar, who I was getting shit on this week for even starting, by Billy. I made Billy look real dumb. Jarvis Landry. I know he has a role. I know he's in a team that can produce. And I know he has upside. So that's my next flex. And then so why would I play a floor play if I'm playing risky guys with high upside? I just want to keep throwing them in there because I know that they have a safe floor. I'm not going to stop that upside by throwing in a floor play. It just makes sense because my receivers they can do both. My receivers can do both.
All right. So our matchups for next week.
Do we want to go over free agents or waiver?
I'm not really sure there were any big ticket items on the waiver wire. Just a lot of streaming.
Literally, the big ticket item was Jacoby Brissett. Butts taking him for like $8, and I bid like 3 on him and didn't get him.
Is Butts even going to start him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I can start with my matchup. I'm about to get boosted. I'm missing Devontae Adams to injury. I'm missing Christian Kirk to injury, and Kenny Galladay's on a bye. So I'm missing 3 starting receivers. What?
I read Devontae Adams is going to play.
As it stands right now, he's not going to play. So Devontae Adams doesn't play. I am probably going to get beat unless I get lucky. I'm projected to lose by 20 points right now, which is a lot. So it's not looking good for me this week, but I guess I can accept losing to the first place team. So that is what it is. My team, my team's proven to be very streaky. Week 1, my team's shit. I got kicked out of Survivor Challenge right off rip. Second week, one of the top scorers. Third week, shits again, super low score. Last week, top score. So my team can go one of 2 ways, and it looks like it's going to go the more negative of the 2 this week, just based off of me missing players. Because even if Devontae Adams does play, he's probably not going to be 100%. So anything can happen, though, in fantasy. But with Trevor's team and with me missing players, I am predicting a fat L for the Thousand Oaks gang.
Okay. I would love to comment on it, but my computer is loading slow, so I can't even get your thing up. So I'm not sure what your matchups look like, but I trust you.
It's not looking good.
Want to take us to the next one, though?
Yeah, I've got Team Butts versus Toledo Cheek Clappers. Two and two teams squaring off. And I don't have the line by line because I didn't even need to pull it up for mine because I already knew what it was. I know that Billy has Tyler Lockett going tonight, who already has a touchdown. But that's all that I know off the top of my head. Butts has McCaffrey. Okay, yeah, here we go. I got it pulled up. Their roster constructions are so similar. It's crazy. Going line by line, Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, I'd say those are pretty even. McCaffrey, Kamara, even. Josh Jacobs, Phillip Lindsay, even, but I'm going to give slight edge to Josh Jacobs because they're playing that game in London, and the London games are always super run heavy because everyone's got jet lag. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. I prefer Keenan Allen, obviously, but Amari Cooper is also a wide receiver one, so I think that's pretty fair. Sanders, Tyler Lockett, both top receivers in their respective offense. Chris Godwin over Geronimo Allison, obviously, but like you said before, talent doesn't always matter in fantasy football. Devontae Adams does not play. Geronimo Allison's in a great spot. Kelsey over Eifert, obviously. And the flex is where it gets interesting. I'm going to say that Butts has the edge here when it comes to comparing flex players. So that being said, give me Team Butts this week.
Sounds good. Any other matchups that spark your interest or you think are worth mentioning?
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting to see 2 1-3s go off against each other with Rob and Ricky. Someone's going to end up 1-4 and in serious relegation danger.
You said Rob and Ricky face each other this week?
2 1-3s going at it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And just looking at the matchups here. Oh, Ricky's starting Kirk Cousins. Oh, you hate to see it. Ooh-wee.
So my brother is a Vikings fan, and I was talking to him today about it. Like, why wouldn't they're facing the Vikings are playing
Giants?
The Giants, who this year are known to have a bad secondary. They've been getting beat by wide receivers all year. The only team that didn't beat on them was Washington. Why wouldn't the Vikings just come out absolutely passing? A, is he's what Kirk Cousins is made out of. B, you're satisfying Thielen and Diggs. And why would you hold it off till later to find out what's going to happen with your team? Let's find out right fucking now against a team that you should be able to pass all over.
Because Mike Zimmer is obsessed with running the ball. They're just going to try to pound them into a pulp with Dalvin Cook, who Ricky also has.
Which, is that capping your upside? It's none of my business.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not playing Kirk Cousins regardless of who's in my lineup or whatever. I'm just not playing Kirk Cousins because he just looks terrible. I don't know what his issue is, but he just looks terrible.
Kirk Cousins or Andy Dalton? I'm rolling out Andy Dalton this week.
Who do the Bengals have?
Arizona.
Shit, give me Kirk. At least the Vikings have a fucking run game.
I'm rolling out Andy Dalton this week. I missed on Jacoby Brissett. I didn't care about anybody else. I got rid of Daniel Jones. It's all about matchups, guys. Arizona is playing as the fastest team in the NFL. They're trying to run more plays than any other team in the NFL. They're only passing the ball. The clock's going to be stopped all the time, which is just going to be giving the opposing team more and more opportunity. That's what we like in fantasy football. The Bengals are going to have opportunity to throw the ball all game against a team who's getting beat in the secondary all year. Give me Andy Dalton this week.
All right, but this matchup, Ricky versus Rob.
Who you like?
You see, it's tough, and I think there's certain factors that it's hinging on. The The value of Marquez Valdez-Scantling depends on if Devontae Adams plays for Ricky. How much volume Melvin Gordon gets his first week back is going to affect his Austin Eckler. Julian Edelman's questionable. I'm assuming he's going to play. And also Allen Robinson playing in the London game. I don't know what it is about those games overseas, but they're always a crapshoot for the quarterbacks and receivers. What?
Isn't Mitch Trubisky hurt?
Yeah, Chase Daniels is going to play. But evidently, Chase Daniels has been targeting Allen Robinson more than Mitch Trubisky was. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm looking at this matchup right now. I think you're going to have to give me Ricky all day. Ricky is projected to win by 20. Besides Mike Evans against New Orleans, Rob's matchups are kind of shit.
He's got the Winston Evans stack.
He needs that. Terry McLaurin against New England's tough D is not going to be much unless they start Haskins and Haskins comes out firing.
What if this is the week? What if this is the week that Calvin Ridley puts up a monster stat line and Julio does nothing?
Huge leverage play. So if you guys ever want to talk about leverage, Houston's had a terrible secondary all year. Ricky's got Julio. Rob's got Calvin Ridley. If Calvin Ridley lights up the field and Julio doesn't, that's such a huge swing from one team to the other. But it doesn't look good with Rob starting Fournette and DJ Shark, both against Carolina. Devontae Freeman hasn't done much all year, although it's still fine. I actually like Aaron Jones a lot this week. Dallas has struggled mightily against Green Bay in the past, and I'm a Dallas fan. Dallas has been getting whooped by Green Bay. If Aaron Jones is the only guy getting the ball in that offense from the running back position, I'm liking Aaron Jones a lot this week. So while I like some of Rob's spots, I like Ricky's even more. Larry Fitzgerald against Cincinnati. Julian Edelman against Washington. Washington's secondary is just terrible.
Washington in general are terrible.
Yeah, and then Julio, Dalvin. But there are plenty of spots to go wrong. Like I said, I think Ricky caps his upside by starting Kirk Cousins with Dalvin. Who knows?
I also want to note that I think these two teams have the best defenses going this week. So
Tennessee?
Yeah, Tennessee against Buffalo if Josh Allen doesn't play. If Josh Allen doesn't play, what does that offense have? Devin Singletary's still hurt.
I didn't even know Josh Allen was in question.
He is.
Okay.
And then the Bears defense is going to eat because Derek Carr's a bum.
You hear me?
What'd you say?
You have any more matchups you care about, or can I switch this over to B-League?
Unless you want to go over yours, not really.
Not sweating it. It's me against team bye week.
Right on. Show us the B's. Show me your TDs.
Are you all shared in?
Yeah.
Show me your TDs. All right. Sitting at the top of the standings still. Team Victoria's Secret and Tank for Tua. That's David Carr and Dustin Jacobs. Both 4-0. Followed by Ryan Brill at 3-1. Put me in coach. My brother topping off 4 2-2 teams. Oregon Stretch Nuts, Miller Time, Team Johnson, Cook 'em Up. The rest are all 1-3. Cheating ass Chelsea, Bansky's Buccos, Team Sabecki, Time to Trade. I don't know. And Toledo Gale Quails. Drake is in dead last of the B League after finishing in last in the A League last year and getting relegated. Doesn't look too good. Speaking of time to trade, I don't know. That's Stephanie Andrews. She got scared, backed herself in a corner, traded the best fantasy football running back in Christian McCaffrey. She traded today McCaffrey and... Is that it? No. Hold on. McCaffrey and some receiver. Anyways, she received Nick Chubb and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's already off to a hot start. So maybe this works out for her. I'm hoping so. But she traded Team Victoria's Secret, who is already our best team.
Yeah, we got 2 4-0s.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Separating themselves. So, again, the way it shakes out is we have the champion and then the regular season champion. If the champion was the regular season champion, then we do whoever got to the championship against them.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up this roster right now, but it's kind of taking a while. So I'm not sweating it. That was our one trade we had. Let me check real quick. Okay, it was Christian McCaffrey and Cortland Sutton for Nick Chubb and Tyler Lockett.
I don't hate it. I can't imagine a situation where I need to trade McCaffrey, though.
Yeah, it's a low-end RB1, or it's Christian McCaffrey and a high-end, wide receiver 3, you would say Cortland Sutton is?
I would say he's just a wide receiver 3. I don't even know if I'd go to say high-end.
So it's trading McCaffrey and a wide receiver 3 for a low-end wide receiver 1 and a high-end wide receiver 2? Tyler Lockett?
I would say that Nick Chubb is a solid running back 1. And then, Lockett's a wide receiver 2.
Okay, so who do you think wins that trade then? You said you wouldn't see yourself ever trading McCaffrey, but
yeah, I think that I think I'd keep McCaffrey because combined between the two of them, it's tough. I guess it depends on who I have at receiver if I'm comfortable enough.
I agree. It all comes down to roster construction, like we were saying before.
It'd be hard for me to trade McCaffrey for much of anything though, unless I was getting a king's ransom.
Yeah, before we head out of here, just one more speak on roster construction. When you're thinking about it, you want to think more of like when you're weighing your trades, you want to think of it more in the median. What is that guy going to score? What's his median outcome? The reason why you judge median over average is because there's only two ways. You either win or you lose. We don't care if you win by 40 or if you win by 1. The only stat you need is a win. So those outlier weeks essentially get thrown in the garbage. Those extra points, we don't care about them scoring 40 in a week if you won by 80 or won by 30 or 20. And we know Christian McCaffrey's median is probably going to be higher than Nick Chubb's. Nick Chubb's going to have plenty of 20-point weeks, but Christian McCaffrey's median is going to look like 27 compared to Nick Chubb's median of, 16?
Probably about there.
It's just another way to think about it. Funny as well, the two teams that traded in this trade, Stephanie and David Carr, had a 1.9-point difference in their matchup. They faced each other last week, and Victoria's Secret pulled it out by less than 2 points.
Nail biter.
Yeah, team getting desperate. I think her trade was worth it. Tyler Lockett's off to a good start. That's it from me. What about you, Wiseman?
I don't have much to say. Trevor, if you do beat me this week, you've earned 5-0, so congratulations to you. And if you lose to me, sorry I had to hand you your first loss, but that's unlucky, mate. Fucking way she goes.
Right. That's going to be it for Nantucket's Revenge. Hopefully, just listening to my bullshit ranting about trades and roster construction, it was enough to make you boggle your mind and how you want to start viewing the way you like to do things. That's it from me. That's it from Wiseman. Good luck this week.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.